Do you ever feel like the nostalgia that we're chasing is really just a nostalgic version of our past selves? It's not actually it's not the past that we are nostalgic about. It's a feeling that we had in the past that we are chasing still. A previous version of ourselves. The childhood version of ourselves. Yeah, that's what I started wondering this morning after I woke up about the time I spent living in Hawaii. And those days were so magical and with like new discovery and hope and excitement for the future and what it may hold and bring. And I always thought maybe it was because of the location being so special. A lot of people like to believe that there are certain energetic centers on the planet that have, that are portals to spiritual realms. I've heard it about Mount Shasta, Sedona, and of course, Hawaii. And I never believed it because it doesn't make sense to me that if how reality works, being a manifestation of the consciousness, that means that wherever you go, it's the same, because like the old saying, wherever you go, there you are. So I don't believe that, certain locations can have energetic influence over you. I think the energy and the influence that a location has is what you place upon it. And so while thinking about this morning, this nostalgic feeling of my time in Hawaii, I really just started to question would it be the same if I went back today? Would I still have that same feeling? Or if I arrived and I had that same feeling, would it still be there after a few weeks, after the initial honeymoon phase, you could say, had worn off again? And it's a good question, It was a different time in my life when I was there. I was able to be more free myself. I didn't have children. Things were different. I was single. I sure had a few short relationships. But there were significant times of feeling I was alone, And then Sylvie suggests that maybe I take a trip, by myself to go back and see. And I realized that wouldn't quite work if I went by myself, because that is not how my current life is. I'm not by myself anymore. So if I really want to get an accurate sense for how it would feel to be there, I need to bring all of myself with me. That means my wife, my family, everything that is now a part of me currently. And upon more reflection this morning, I really start to believe that I think I'm just chasing a nostalgic version of myself. And then you need to think, how can you bring more of that feeling back in your current form, your more responsible, heavier, weighed down by the problems and the stresses of the world today. How do we get back there? I mean, I think back in those wonderful times, I completely had cut myself off from pretty much all of the media. I didn't listen to the news. I wasn't really engaged in social media. I was just living life. And that might be the nostalgia that we're all missing, that we're all looking for. It really might be as simple as just switching off again, switching off from the media and the social media, everything. It's just, it really just separates us from ourselves, from how we feel in the moment. And it makes us feel ways that otherwise wouldn't be authentic to ourselves. We're not meant to be inundated with so much information, especially information that would otherwise normally never affect your life. And that's how I was living during my time in Hawaii. I had no idea what was going on in the world. Completely ignorant to all of it. Didn't care. Presidential elections in the United States, I didn't care. Didn't vote. Wasn't a part of it. And I remember observing people who were, even at the time, in Hawaii, into the elections. And I just thought, like, man, you don't even realize how ridiculous you look. Here you are, feeling anxious, stressed out, and just kind of wasting your life about these politics, and you don't even see what you have in front of you. Now, obviously, I think over the last few years, politics have shifted. I think what we've witnessed is that there is a real battle going on between good and evil, between control and freedom. And it might have always been about that in politics, but I think a long time ago, politics were more just about individuals wanting to have power. Now that power has expanded globally, so it's more dangerous now. But I feel like we're winning that battle. So it's not done. The battle's not over with. But is it time to again start relinquishing that control, that fear, that worry, and come back to living a simple life and just focusing on day-to-day stuff, day-to-day interactions with yourself, with people, your family? I think it might be time. I think we've all reached a breaking point. And it's depressive having too much going on up here. Those are some of my thoughts I've had this morning. Let me know. You feeling this too? Do you also agree that the idea of nostalgia that we're chasing is likely just a nostalgic version of ourselves? How we felt, in the past and our younger selves? I think this yearning for nostalgic feelings likely happens the older and older you get. The more that life seems less spontaneous, less exciting, less adventurous. I think many of us need that idea of adventure. And so let me know.